You're talking about illiteracy. That you have to go back 200 years
I think this
in the West to find that level of illiteracy.
Precisely the kind of reasoning that's used to justify the bombing and commercial colonization of those territories. They're not like us. They treat women different from us. I don't think we're in a position to make those judgments. I think that these kind of sort of theoretical tableaus are used to create a false hierarchy and a moral superiority by a dominant culture that subsequently uses thinking of this nature to underwrite the modern day colonization and subjugation of these people on a massive scale.
Right,
and as barbaric and disgusting as 9/11 was, a daily 9/11 since then, so that a state system can perpetuate itself using rationalism, using comfortable means of executions that glide slyly by all white in the sky, is no better than the 9/11 that was a riposte too.
Right, and suicide bombing.
So it's just aesthetics, really.
No, it's not.
Suicide bombing looks bad. A drone bombing,
it's not just
nice.
Aesthetics. It's not just aesthetics.
Well, how is it not aesthetic?
When you're talking about the possibility of something like nuclear terrorism or biological terrorism, that where someone tries to weaponize smallpox and kill 100 million people.
Let's just mention that nuclear terrorism is not hypothetical. It already happened 50 years ago. Underwritten
I won't
by
call that,
secularism.
I won't call that nuclear terrorism.
Or nuclear, I don't know.
There was certainly a first
I bet
use
if you were in Nagasaki that day, semantics wouldn't be your primary concern. What should we call that thing? Ow, my teeth! When you say a suicide bomber, I admit that it's an extraordinary and it's difficult for us to understand. But what I'm curious about, Sam, is that what are the prerequisite conditions for suicide bombing even to be relevant? And I also can't help but thinking when I sort of feel when we sort of recall events like Waco or any disruption or anything that sort of ruptures the sort of like the American mainframe. Well, not American, because I think this goes beyond nation. If you find yourself in opposition to the state, the means by which the state will deploy violence doesn't need to resort to sort of lurid, livid, blatant, clumsy acts like suicide bombing, because the power is so evident. The ability to exert power and control is so total that it doesn't need sort of like almost the sort of graphic and horrific whimsy of something like a suicide bombing, albeit underwritten by something that looks peculiar to people like us that value life and value fun and don't have a belief system that's like, I'll be in some sort of Valhalla subsequently.